Leading a healthy lifestyle is a choice that we all must be confronted with and make. And it appears that a larger portion of the American population is interested in doing just that, according to my friends at McKinsey Company and Forbes. Approximately 77% of Americans today have a genuine and general interest in eating a healthier diet and leading a better lifestyle, but face significant barriers in accomplishing that very goal. Meanwhile, a Forbes Health survey found that 84% of today's Americans would be willing to make significant life changes in order to lead a healthier lifestyle. And let's take a moment to dive into the numbers. 68% of Americans today said that they would be willing to forego fast food. 62% said that they would be willing to give up ultra-processed foods, while 65% of Americans today said that they would be willing to leave soda in the past if it meant that they get to live longer. This is all good news for my friend Roseanne Schnell to consider. She's a certified nutritionist and dietitian with 20 years of experience helping individuals and organizations achieve optimal health through personalized nutrition and wellness coaching and innovative educational programs. She's got an approachable style and she's helped her clients of all ages achieve measurable results in diet, fitness, and overall well-being. Her career spans leadership and client-facing roles with respected organizations including the Vitamin Shoppe, Oceanside Pediatric and ProHealth, and the Personal Training Institute. She's also built and launched her own nutritional practice, delivering medical nutrition therapy, sports nutrition, and weight management services through in-office counseling and at-home visits, as well as telehealth consultations as well. And Snell joined me this week to tell me more. I'm Kevin McShann. Let's have this conversation. I started my conversation with Snell by asking her how we turn nutrition into a lifestyle rather than a struggle.
Absolutely. Nutrition is always in my mind, something that we're fueling our body for our health and wellness, and always aiming to achieve our best selves. So I always find it really important to just discuss nutrition and have a positive mindset around nutrition. And that's something that I always aim to do with my clients, is get them into a positive mindset, because when we have that positive mindset and we look at nutrition as a positive, we're more likely to implement healthier habits into our lifestyle instead of seeing it as a struggle and a barrier.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I know, Roseanne, that you're a certified dietitian and nutritionist, my friend, with over 2 decades of hands-on experience, and you've helped thousands of people break free from diet confusion and frustration to bring a warm, no-nonsense approach to conversations rather about health and fitness and nutrition, my friend. So I'm wondering if you can tell me about your journey as a dietitian and nutritionist, my friend, and why you love the work that you do.
Absolutely. I've always been very passionate about health and wellness, and I actually started my career as a clinical dietitian in long-term healthcare facilities. And it was there that I saw, Kevin, lots of chronic disease and people at the end of their lives, with actually a diagnosis of failure to thrive. And it was then that I realized that I had a real passion for more of a holistic approach to health and wellness, where I really wanted to help people prevent these chronic diseases from happening to them in their lives and being more on the preventative side of nutrition and supporting anybody on their journey earlier in life to support their needs and have them lead a healthier, more quality of life through more holistic health. So I really got into holistic health and that passion for holistic health and treating the person as a whole instead of just the disease. So I really embrace that. And throughout my lifespan so far, with all the changes in my life, I've really always tried to stay curious about the innovations in nutrition and health. Just learn more about functional nutrition, something I didn't learn in school, and learn more about targeted supplementation, ways to supplement a healthy lifestyle, and just continuing to stay curious. And that's sort of what led me to Shed. And what I do there and for them, and really just learning more about the innovative way to lose weight today and combining it with holistic health.
Yeah, absolutely. So, before I ask you about your work with Shed, what do you think is the key to helping people, break free of confusion and give them clarity when it comes to their nutritional health? What are your thoughts there, my friend?
When it comes to nutritional health, I really believe in education, supporting people and educating people on why nutrition is important for health and wellness, and then being able to implement a healthy lifestyle into their unique day to day activities. Because everybody's lifestyle looks different. So it's so important that we don't take that cookie cutter approach, and we really try to individualize it and personalize it and make it so that people could live a healthy lifestyle with whatever lifestyle they're leading. We have professionals, we have mothers, we have young adults that have busy social lives. So we have to make nutrition convenient and fit into people's lifestyles and educate them on why, the nutrition is actually important for the body.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I know that you are a passionate innovator in the wellness space. You've contributed to the formulation of a cutting edge GLP-1, a support supplement, and offered a nutrition guide on the subject, my friend. So I'm wondering if you can tell me about it and the work that you currently do at Shed. Tell me all about it, my friend.
Thank you so much, Kevin, for giving me the opportunity to do that. So at Shed, we take we support people on different types of treatment plans. So we offer all different types of products to support weight loss and longevity. And one of our most popular products is the GLP-1 agonist. And the GLP-1 agonist mimics the natural GLP-1 hormone that we all have in our bodies. And as a nutritionist working for Shed, I have helped create a metabolic foundation plan that optimizes the GLP-1 treatment, and also a health coaching program that implements behavioral lifestyle changes that give people the opportunity to use GLP-1s for sustainable weight loss, combining the nutrition along with the lifestyle change with their GLP-1 treatment. Because this GLP-1 medication is very innovative in the weight loss space right now. We've never had a weight loss medication that actually works with the body and with the natural pathways of the body. So that's very exciting. And it gives people the opportunity to make healthier choices in nutrition and also with their lifestyle to optimize their treatment for metabolic health. So I really focus in on metabolic health with the Metabolic Foundation Plan. And there are 4 pillars of that plan when it comes to GLP-1 nutrition that's so important. So the first pillar that I focus on is protein to protect the muscle and keep people feeling satisfied and help control blood sugar levels so that they could be in fat burning mode. The second one is fiber. Fiber is going to be really important to help keep people satisfied, support their digestion and their gut health. And nutrient density, getting really a variety of vegetables and fruits and different types of foods that are going to have vitamins, minerals, phytonutrients that are going to support the overall health and wellness of the body and give the body the environment that supports weight loss. And the gut health, again, is so important and one that really gets overlooked sometimes, but that is where the GLP-1 hormone is produced. So keeping that gut healthy is so important. And with the research, with the gut-brain connection, we're really supporting and helping gut health as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know, my friend, that you are a leading innovator when it comes to women in the healthcare space. And I'm curious to ask you about the responsibility you think you hold in carrying the mantle, so to speak, when it comes to women in healthcare and really helping women to see themselves in leadership positions when it comes to overall metabolic health and nutrition in general, my friend. Fred, I'm wondering how receptive you are to being a woman leader in healthcare, my friend.
Thank you so much, Kevin. I'm so proud to be a woman leader in healthcare. And women do, have different struggles when it comes to health and wellness, especially around hormonal health. So there's a lot of hormonal changes going on in the woman's body throughout the lifespan. And I think educating the woman on her resilience to power through and support her system to get through the changes physically and emotionally is of utmost importance, and really helping women gain confidence in themselves. And one of the things that I really work on with the women is positive mindset and positive self-talk. So as women, we tend to negative self-talk and point out and be very critical of ourselves and point out our weaknesses and our flaws. And I really always aim to empower women to really point out in themselves their strengths and the power that they have to be strong emotionally and physically, and to really gain confidence and put themselves out there as leaders, like you were saying.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that your career personally has spanned working for some of the largest companies in the space, including respected roles in organizations which include the Vitamin Shoppe and the Personal Training Institute, my friend. So I'm wondering your thoughts on the trajectory of your career. And I know you've launched your own practice as well, as we've been discussing, where you focus on a lot of the things that we've talked about today, including, my friend, nutritional therapy, sports nutrition, and wellness management. So I'm wondering if you could take a step back for me and just comment on the trajectory of your career, and are you surprised or proud of yourself when it comes to where your feet have landed today, my friend? I'm curious to get your answer there.
Absolutely, Kevin. Like I mentioned earlier, being a dietitian and studying dietetics in school, we learn a lot about the clinical medical aspect of supporting people with nutrition. And I did lots of that in the long-term care facility, actually even working with people that were being fed by a tube feeding, that needed to be fed through formulas and calculations and all of that. And like I was saying earlier, those people were at the end stage of their lives. And I wanted to turn that around for myself. And that's where I really gained that passion. I enjoyed that long-term health care and treating the person at the end of their life where they had these chronic diseases that needed the support, but also really staying curious and wanting to know how I could help people get the quality of life and support them at preventing those chronic diseases later in life. So working at in fitness nutrition and helping people support nutrition with fitness and body movement and supporting the person's body composition and the endorphins that they were releasing for that positive mindset during activity, and finding ways that we could support their fitness with nutrition, giving them more energy to work harder in the gym, to push harder. So that was always really exciting for me. And then, like I said, I always really tried to stay curious about what was new and trending in nutrition. And that led me to really learning a lot more about supplements, understanding the vitamins and minerals and the catalyst that they produce for our body functions and how important they are. And obviously food first and getting that through nutrition, but also ways to really target that supplementation so we could get the most out of what we need for our bodies through nutrition and supplementation. And telehealth, I've been working in for many years now, over the last 10 years with the Vitamin Shoppe and now with Shed. And I really love telehealth for the reason that it's so convenient for people, and being able to meet people on a lunch break or in their homes before they leave for work, and helping them, set up their day, or help them when they have the convenient time to just give that moment to health and wellness, and making it easier and more convenient for them, I have found has been really exciting and a great way to be able to help people in today's society. And now at Shed, working with people with this new real innovative medication that, like I said, we've never had a type of medication before that worked with the body for metabolic health and weight loss. So it's really exciting, and being able to help people create a lifestyle around this medication has been so exciting and so rewarding, because I really can see the changes that I'm making in people's lives and we're making in people's lives.
Yeah, absolutely. And Roseanne, I'm curious to get your thoughts on these findings from the National Institute of Health. They reported at the end of last year that a striking majority of American adults struggle with their metabolic health, with recent data indicating that only between 6.8% and 12.2% of the population in America today consider themselves metabolically healthy, my friend, which of course means that approximately 9 out of 10 Americans have at least one marker of metabolic health concern, my friend, which exists today. So I'm curious, when you hear those findings, what thoughts immediately come to mind, my friend?
Immediately, what comes to mind is that metabolic health, like you're saying, Kevin, has been getting a lot more highlight over diet culture. So I think that today's society is really getting away from diets and quick fixes, and we're putting more emphasis on whole body health and metabolic health, because it's really the way that the body is processing and functioning that is going to bring somebody to sustainable health and wellness over a quick fix. So metabolic wellness is so important today. And unfortunately, in our society, we have a lot of stress and very busy schedules. And for a long time, people were really just grabbing what was convenient, sort of keeping nutrition as something that wasn't as important as it should be, and skipping meals, and then overindulging and not having a priority for their metabolic health, and leading to some chronic disease. Now I think people are really waking up to the fact that nutrition and overall health and wellness is so important, and really getting to the bottom of the functioning of their bodies instead of things that are going to quickly fix their energy, quickly fix their brain health and their cognition. Things that what's going to really support that is healthy metabolism and a healthy body function.
Yeah, and just building on the point you just made about people not having the time or not devoting the time to this, what are your thoughts on how we can help people get rid of the confusion when it comes to fad diets and really encourage them to sort of use the science-backed methods with nutrition and the data that will really help them in the long term instead of searching for that quick fix, my friend. So what are your thoughts on the importance of steering people away from fad diets and really helping them understand the importance of the science? What are your thoughts there, my friend?
Well, really what happens with fad diets is people get into a restrictive mindset, and they focus on whatever the diet that they're following has to offer. They're focusing on what they can have and the restrictions of that plan. And opposite of that, what we are doing at Shed and what I've always promoted as a dietitian is abundance and addition. What you should be eating more of, what makes your body feel good, and what makes your body function at its best, instead of worrying about what you can't have. Focus on addition to meals, adding things that are healthy, that are going to give you energy, that are going to support your digestion, that are going to keep that metabolism and body fat burning for your body. So I really think it's important to stay away from those fad diets and the restrictive mindset, and get into the abundance mindset and the addition mindset. Addition over restriction is one of the things that I always say.
Yeah, absolutely. And Roseanne, can I ask you about the importance of not getting trapped by emotional dieting? And what I mean by that is so many people are, based on human nature, open to comparing themselves to other people's fitness and diet journey. And I'm wondering your thoughts on why you think most diets fail and how we can help people really stay emotionally regulated and focus on what truly matters and not get caught up in the emotions of dieting. What are your thoughts there, my friend?
Well, that's a tough one, Kevin, because that's one of the things that's so difficult is that people get emotionally invested in things and making sure that people are really following a health plan for the right reasons. So, one of the things that we really aim for is to discuss with the person why they want to eat healthy. What are the emotions behind the journey that they're starting for health and wellness? And really digging deep into that, asking that person why. And often I get the answer like, I just want to get more energy. And then what I really want to try to do is ask that person a little bit further to get into the emotions behind the health and wellness goal. As well, when you have more energy, what are you going to do with that energy? And then they're starting to tell me that they're going to be keeping up with their grandchildren, or they're going to be hiking with their husband in the next stage of their life as empty nesters, or they're going to be dancing at their daughter's wedding. So there's so many other factors that come into eating healthy and wanting to start a health and wellness journey. And the emotions behind it are so important. And having the emotions and reminding yourself of the emotions that are going to keep you motivated and keep you moving towards that goal is so important. And it's the different emotion when you think of an emotion that, oh, I just want to fit into the dress for the wedding, or do you want to be able to dance at the wedding and enjoy the event? So changing the person's mindset and letting them dig deep into their emotions and focusing on deep emotions around health and wellness and why they want to aim for a healthier lifestyle.
Yeah, and Roseanne, I'm also curious to ask you this, partly because I'm personally invested in this answer. As we age, our nutritional habits tend to sometimes go by the wayside because we're getting older and we want to be set in our own ways, and certainly sometimes, especially with older people, I'm going through this with my dad currently. It's hard to get people to teach an old dog new tricks when it comes to their diet sometimes. And, sometimes we get to these people when it's almost too late. So how can we encourage older people to really take control of their nutrition and diet journey, my friend, so that they can prolong their lives for as long as possible, my friend? What are the keys to motivating older people to really take control of their nutrition and diet journey, in your opinion, my friend?
That's a great question, Kevin. For the elderly population, you're right. They do get very set in their ways. But it's so important that as caretakers and as health professionals, that we really understand where they are at. And we want to make sure that they never feel like they have to make changes to compromise their lifestyle. We want to make sure that they're understanding that any changes that they make to their nutrition is going to support them living longer, having more energy, being in less pain. So it's not something that we're doing to change the way they enjoy food. It's something that we're helping them do so that they stay healthier for the long term. And making them, see that, I think, is important. And coming from a place of compassion in that process is so important. And really for us to understand that they have things in place because this is what they enjoy and this is what they're used to. So again, instead of telling somebody that's been doing something for a very long time that they can't do that anymore, let's find ways that we could add foods to their plate that they do enjoy, that we know that are going to be healthier for them, helping them understand that, hey, you know what? If you have a little more vegetables with your lunch today, that's going to help with your digestion and you're going to feel a lot better. And giving them the power to put that into their own hands. And would they understand why they're doing it? Instead of us just telling them, they're more likely to make those changes. And then when they start doing it and they see the benefits of it, oh, wow, Kevin gave me more broccoli and I was actually had more energy yesterday. When they start seeing those benefits or their doctor starts telling them, wow, I see your cholesterol has gone down. Then they see the results are working and that they are, living healthier, more quality life than before. So it's really just working with them, staying compassionate and meeting them where they're at and working with what they enjoy and adding to their plates or adding to their lives, what fits in and what they're comfortable with.
Yeah, absolutely. And Roseanne, I'm also curious to get your thoughts on this. The Pew Research Center last year said that only 2 in 10 Americans describe their diet as extremely or very healthy, while a much larger scale or share of Americans, and a clip of 59%, say that their diets are somewhat healthy, and only 1/5 of Americans claim that their diets aren't too healthy at all, my friend. So I'm curious to get your thoughts on what that tells you about nutritional and diet habits and how we can help reverse the trend to have a more healthier society. What are your thoughts there, my friend?
Yeah. So unfortunately, like I was saying earlier, the American society has really gone to convenience and trying to do as much as they possibly can and fueling their bodies is a second thought and a grab and go convenient, let me just get what I can, quick energy with coffee beverages. Really going for ultra processed foods that are available, not really taking the time to even think about what works for their bodies anymore. And I really am seeing a shift because people are starting to see, like you said, Kevin, that when they look at their diet, they can't really say that it's a healthy one because they're probably grabbing at those ultra processed foods that have been marketed for us to think that these are easy, quick to fit in, quick energy, but that's not what's helping our bodies function at its best. And the new dietary regulations that came out, I think are really showing that people and leaders are looking to really emphasize whole foods over those ultra processed foods. So focusing on more foods from the earth, whole foods, which can be super convenient. And I think we've just gotten away from that mindset of eating whole foods and grabbing whole foods that are convenient. So I really try to help people see that you could lead a healthy, quick, grab and go lifestyle and fit nutrition in a healthy way with whole foods. It's very easy to grab a mandarin orange that's easy to peel, an apple that's really easy to eat over, the bag of chips or the bag of cookies. And I think people are also starting to realize that it isn't helping their health. We are seeing higher levels of obesity, of diabetes, and now people are really looking to get away and prevent those diseases, and they know that they're going to have to go more towards whole foods over these ultra-processed foods.
Yeah, absolutely. And Roseanne, the Pew Research Center also talked about food affordability, with 69% of Americans saying that the cost of food is also a major barrier to living a healthier lifestyle, my friend. So talk to me about your thoughts on food affordability and how it affects the nutritional health of everyday Americans. What are your thoughts there?
Yes, that is a very interesting topic and a very important topic for today. We have seen major inflation, and it has affected the grocery prices and people trying to figure out how to feed themselves and their families well on a budget. So we really, again, try to emphasize and meet people where they're at. And there are ways that we could eat healthy on a budget. I always use the example of vegetables and produce, and going over to that frozen fruit and frozen vegetable aisle. You could really find healthy options. The food isn't going to go bad. It's going to be a lot cheaper than the fresh produce, but yet it is frozen at its peaked ripeness. So those frozen veggies and fruits are going to have great nutritional value, and they're going to be easy to add to any meal that you're creating. And it's difficult sometimes, but what happens is when we try to focus on those cheaper foods that are convenient, what's happening is we are spending more money on healthcare. So we have to remind ourselves, that it's so important to nourish ourselves well, and that it is a priority. And when we're trying to budget, that we do try to do our best at finding foods in the supermarket, sometimes that they could be seasonal or, like I said, frozen, to get the best for the budget.
Yeah, absolutely. And Roseanne, I'm also curious to ask you about fueling our bodies for energy rather than calories, and exploring the connection or overlooked connection between health, inflammation, and overall wellness, my friend. What do you think people need to know about that correlation, my friend, and fueling our bodies for energy over calories? What are your thoughts there?
Oh, I love that, Kevin. I think that's so important. I don't think people should be focusing in on calories. I think that they should be focusing in on foods that support their bodies and make them feel good, giving them energy, decreasing inflammation. That is of utmost importance. And it really is. And that's again, one of the reasons why focusing on more whole foods is going to be so important, because a lot of the foods that we've been focusing on are going to give a calorie wise. When we look at calories and we're just focusing in on calorie, we're not focusing in on what's inside that food and what our bodies are getting from that food. So it's very important that we think about the macronutrients, the protein, the carbohydrates, and the healthy fats, and getting balanced meals that are going to give our bodies what it needs. Each one of those macronutrients has a different function within the body. So we want to make sure that we're supporting all of our body functions, and we're not focusing on calories, but we're focusing on what is in the food that's going to provide us with that energy, like you said, the vitamins, the nutrients, and those macronutrients that are going to support the body systems over calories.
Yeah, absolutely. And Roseanne, I'm also curious to get your thoughts on findings from the National Library of Medicine that reports that approximately 74% of adults today in America are overweight, which is reported by the CDC, including 43% of adults who are considered obese, but only about 10% of the American population is willing to admit it, my friend. So I'm fascinated to get your thoughts on those findings and how we can really work with people to improve their metabolic and nutritional health. And my friend, what thoughts immediately come to mind when you hear those statistics, my friend?
Kevin, that makes me very sad actually, because it is true that there is a stigma around obesity, and people shouldn't be ashamed of any type of disease that they have. And obesity is a disease, and there are many reasons why people are metabolically unhealthy. And as healthcare professionals and as a society, we have to help people not feel ashamed of anything that they're going through and really remove that stigma. It's not okay for people to feel badly about something that they struggle with, and making sure that as healthcare professionals and the society, that we care about people and that we are compassionate about people. I've even heard my clients and members come to me and say that, some of their doctors don't believe that they have obsessive thoughts over food, or that they have hunger signals that they can't control. And they're immediately looked at as if they have behaviors around this that are affecting their health and wellness and causing this obesity. And we really owe it to our society to be compassionate and look at the root causes of why people are becoming obese. And there are so many reasons. And again, like I was saying earlier, the holistic approach is so important. There are people that have unhealthy relationships with food for emotional reasons. There are people that have diseases that they can't metabolize food like other people. And we always have to remind ourselves that compassion is of utmost importance.
Yeah, and you mentioned earlier, I want to circle back to something you mentioned earlier about having experience in long-term health care. And, as someone with a disability, this is also important to me that segment of our population is cared for adequately and made sure that they have the highest quality of life possible. And I'm curious, when you look at the state of long-term health care today, what concerns you the most, and what frustrates you the most about the quality of nutritional health for folks with long-term health care needs, and what provides you the most hope, my friend? I'm curious to get your answer there.
Thank you, Kevin. And actually have experience working with developmentally disabled individuals. I worked in state facilities for the developmentally disabled. And I think it's so important. The success that we had there with that population really stemmed around an interdisciplinary approach to health and wellness. And I think that's forgotten sometimes. I think people go to facilities and doctors, and the healthcare professionals are treating symptoms and treating what is going wrong at the moment. But I think it's so important to take an approach to really looking at the person's lifestyle. And when I was treating and was most successful with the disability population, I was working alongside speech therapists, occupational therapists, doctors. So we took an approach, an interdisciplinary approach to supporting that person's quality of life, instead of treating a symptom that they may be experiencing. And I think that's where we really will see more success. And that interdisciplinary approach is what I was mentioning earlier, the more holistic approach, treating that whole person instead of just a symptom.
Yeah, absolutely. Roseanne, outside of work, I know that you enjoy things like gardening, cooking, and spending time outdoors, and you're on a mission to empower others to use nutrition as a foundation for achieving both weight loss, better health, and fitness, my friend, and ultimately a better sense of prosperity. So I'm wondering if you could shed a little bit of light on that mission, your life outside of work, and how you want your legacy to be remembered as both a professional and personally as well. What are your thoughts there, my friend?
Thank you so much. Yes, Kevin, honestly, I just try to take one day at a time. I really think that gratitude is one of the most important ways to live my personal life. I've found as I'm getting older, as I'm going through life, that daily gratitude and just being grateful for what we have really helps us actually achieve more. And that is something I've been bringing into my practice a little bit more recently, is helping people just have gratitude for where they are in life right now. And that's how I've been trying to live my life, and then helping people achieve their goals, but really setting people up for success by making sure that they're grateful for what they have and that they're enjoying what they're doing. That's the other thing. Making sure that people enjoy their routine and implementing healthy habits that are enjoyable and that are unique to your lifestyle. And that's what I continuously work at. I'm always changing ways that I do things because my lifestyle is changing. And I encourage people to always keep awareness around that. So I really would love to make sure that people understand that for me as a nutritionist, I always look to make health and wellness as enjoyable as possible, to be grateful for what we have, and to set goals for ourselves to be the best that we can be.
Yeah, absolutely. And Roseanne, finally tell me if you want to get connected with Shed or yourself personally, what's the best way they can do that?
Yes. So the best way to stay connected with Shed is through our website. You can go to tryshed.com and you can become a member. And we just recently launched the Shed community, and you could even join our community. And you could see all the types of educational materials we provide, the way that we support our members. We meet them where they're at. We make their journey enjoyable and smooth. And we work with our members to provide the complete wellness journey, supporting them at every stage of their journey, and educating them and supporting them on what works best for them and their bodies. So again, that's tryshed.com.
Well, fabulous, my friend. I want to thank you for all of the great work that you do surrounding nutritional and metabolic health, all the great work that you do at Shed, and joining me this morning to engage in conversation. Your time on my behalf is most appreciated, and I want to thank you for being here, my friend.
Thank you so much, Kevin. It was such a pleasure being here with you today, and happy birthday.